HVAC 360 is brought to you today by the Internet. You heard me, the Internet. Carry on now. Hey, welcome back. Matt Nelson here, your host for HVAC 360, helping you be the best and the brightest in the field of HVAC. I do that by sharing information, specific lessons learned from the field, or talking with industry experts. If you haven't done so already, I would want you to encourage you to go over to HVAC360.com and sign up for the newsletter, and then browse on over to YouTube, look up HVAC 360, and subscribe there. So, what's up for this week? This week, we talk with Brian Dale, who is an application engineer for Danfoss. It's a pretty short episode, and one of the main takeaways, really, is just to go explore the site. That's ChooseDanfosscom for a bunch of goodness. Well, enough of that. Let's just cut to the tape and hear from Brian. All right, today we'll be talking with Brian Dale, who is an application engineer for Danfoss. How are you doing today, Brian?
Doing great, Matt.
So today we're going to be talking about choose.danfoss.com. What can you tell me about that, Brian?
Choose.danfoss.com is a way for us to try and better communicate with our customers, whether that's wholesalers, contractors, installers, engineers, basically anyone who's coming into contact with Danfoss products.
And what are some of the things that they can expect to find when they get there?
Yeah, on the website, obviously we're going to have access to data sheets and literature about Danfoss compressors, valves, heat exchangers, and all the other various components that we manufacture. There's also a variety of different online training courses you can take, so this can give you a deeper dive into understanding compressors or valves, any other products that we produce. And it's a good way to introduce someone who's maybe new to the industry, or someone who's maybe been in the industry a little bit longer but hasn't ever dove into the specifics of how a scroll compressor works or something like that.
Right, and there's over, 1,500 courses, right?
Yes, yeah, there's quite a few. I think the total number is somewhere around 1,500 all in. There are some even in other languages as well, but the vast majority of them are in English.
Now, in addition to that, you have some installation videos and animation videos?
Yes, there are a variety of installation videos as well as animations that kind of show how the internal components of some of the different steel cans you might see out there, whether it's a scroll compressor or a reciprocating compressor, you don't always easily see inside there, so that animation's there to try and give you an idea of what's going on the inside.
Right, because that's one of the things, at least from an engineer. There are some things about the refrigeration, components that are a little bit of a mystery, and it's hard to understand exactly what they're doing. So having kind of those animation videos certainly help in being able to understand more about what's going on in there. So what other support features do you have on the website?
So the website has a variety of frequently asked questions. So, a common one from contractors is, how do I adjust superheat? How do I look up a part number? Or how do I find a replacement of a particular part? So there's a lot of things like that. There's ways to get in touch with Danfoss or Danfoss distributors directly. There's ways you can search for distributors in your area, or to actually get the number for a Danfoss direct employee. Eventually, you go to the website, you'll find that a lot of the phone numbers are 1-800-DANFOSS to dial into. So that's something you can kind of remember, probably just from listening to this podcast, that 1-800-DANFOSS is a good way to get in touch with Danfoss tech support.
All right. So what I guess some of the different things. What's new on the ChooseDanfoss.com website? What are some of the new products that are out there?
Well, I guess things that are new on the website, we have available to download, and there's links to the website, a tool that's free for checking whether a solenoid valve is active. It measures the magnetic field through your iPhone or Android to basically give you an indication if the solenoid valve is turned on. You can use the same tool with pumps that are being driven by electricity. You can see whether the pump is running or not. It's a good little tool. You may have seen similar things where it's kind of like a keychain where it's a little magnet that'll spin. If you put it over a solenoid valve that's running, it's basically the equivalent of that, except it's now an app. We also have a tool that's meant for adjusting superheat that's available through the website. It's also free. You can get links to them to the website, but they're also available through the various app stores that are out there. And the TXV superheat tuner is just meant to help you speed up the adjustment process, because it'll look at the current superheat, your target superheat, and try and give you an approximate number of turns you should adjust your TXV. So it's pretty useful that way. And then as far as new products, we debuted a few at the AHR Expo. One that I think is of particular interest is an interlaced microchannel condenser. And interlaced, that's a term, it's been pretty familiar for people with tube and fin coils, and essentially it's the same principle, but with microchannel. And the way that it'll work is there'll be a single coil, but there'll be two different inlets, two different outlets, so that way two separate circuits can operate in the same microchannel condenser. And the advantage there is you can have a better part load efficiency, so we think it's going to be very popular as systems get redesigned for the 2023 energy efficiency standards, since part load efficiency is going to be a big portion of the new requirements for 2023.
Now, that microchannel coil, I guess, can you explain that a little bit more? I mean, I think that most people out there, if you're familiar with most of the water coils, you have the main tube kind of going back and forth, and you have the fins that are on, are pressed onto that tube. But that's not necessarily how a microchannel works, correct?
Yeah, so microchannel technology is something that's been in automotive for decades, and it's different from a standard tube and fin coil in that it's all aluminum, which I guess tube and fin coils are now coming out as all aluminum, but it's an aluminum tube with a lot of these very small holes that the refrigerant flows through, and it is a way that you can make your heat transfer more efficient compared to tube and fin, because you're breaking up the refrigerant into all these little small pieces, and that allows for overall better heat transfer. And what it's allowed companies to do is to either shrink the size of their heat exchanger or keep it the same size and get better heat transfer, and as a result lower the difference between the outdoor air and the refrigerant temperature, or the difference between the indoor air temperature and the refrigerant temperature itself, if it's being used as a evaporator, because microchannel technology can be used in either evaporators or condensers. It's easier to explain microchannel when you have a visual aid to go along with, which you can get through the website, but that was the best I could do with just words.
All right, well, we'll put that in the show notes. So I guess any other thoughts that you have that you want to be able to share about ChooseDanfoss.com?
Not that I can think of. It's just a great place to start when you're getting online and you're trying to learn more about Danfoss. You're trying to learn more about all the different components and products that make up the refrigeration and air conditioning industry that we're all a part of.
All right. Well, Brian, thanks for being on the show. All right, thanks again to Brian for taking the time to talk with me. Check out the show notes for links to things that we mentioned during the interview. You can find those show notes over at hvac360.com/159. And also, thanks to you for taking the time to listen. I hope this was helpful. If you know anybody who's looking to step up their HVAC game, considering sharing this episode or another one of your favorites with them, this really is by far the best thing you can do to spread the word about the podcast. You can subscribe over to hvac360.com for a weekly dose of the written word, or browse on over to YouTube, my YouTube channel, and subscribe if video is more to your liking. Lastly, I would be greatly honored if you'd want to consider leaving me a rating and review over at Apple Podcast. That would be fantastic. Well, that's a wrap for this episode of HVAC 360. I'm Matt Nelson, helping you be the best and the brightest in the field of HVAC. And as always, know what you build and share what you know.